Hello, everyone. We're going to complete this Excel file. Remember that we have created all these table with all the heating loads. Then we have created this new table with the heating and cooling loads throughout the year, the monthly and heating cooling loads. And here we have a summary for the walls, roof, basement, window, ventilation, and solar gains. So that came with this table, we created a graphic like this with heat losses, heat gains. And what we are doing now is to turn all these heating loads into electric loads. So we are assuming that this building runs on electricity. So now we have to convert all these loads to electric loads. And we have to create a PV array and to see if we can compensate the energy consumption for the energy production. That's the EER, the energy efficiency ratio, that turns thermal loads in BTU to watt hours. This is the electric energy. Now we have to fill this column, the column of the appliances, because we have the HVAC electric loads and we have the PV production, but we have to add up the consumption of different machines or appliances that we have in the building. We have to add up this to the electric heating loads. And how can we do that? Well, we can Google power consumption or electric consumption appliances list, and you will have a lot of data here. For example, this one, if you open this, here we have a list of elements, and this is the power. And even that's interesting because even in the standby mode, some of the appliances consume. Okay, so we have a LED TV on standby. It's consuming some power, not a lot, but if you add everything up, it makes a difference. Okay, so you see that some of the elements, they don't have this standby consumption, but some other elements they do. Anyway, we're not going to do that. I have copied, we have list of appliances, a lot of them. So I have prepared a list, and I will share this with you. In this tab where the materials are, I have a list of appliances, and I have selected a few of them. And this is the electric power that we have for those appliances. What do we have to do now? We need to see if they are in use or not. So on off means that if we have a 42-inch LED TV, we click 1. And if we don't have a 42-inch plasma TV, we don't do anything, or we type 0, whatever. So we can have a coffee maker, a cooker hood, a desktop computers, a dishwasher, and a fridge, and printers, that's jacuzzi, and LED light bulbs. So we are going to have this and the projector. Okay. Then that's the on off. If you don't have a number here, that means that you don't have this item. Here we can see the hours of use. So how many hours do we use the LED TV? Let's say 5 hours. And the coffee maker, 1 hour. The hood, half hour. The computer. Oh, before doing this, I'm going to insert a new column. It's the number of appliances. Okay, so we can have 2 TVs, 5 hours each. We can have a coffee maker, 1, and then we use it 1 hour. We have 1 hood we use it half an hour per day. Desktops, we can have, say, 4, and we use them 3 hours per day. Dishwasher, we have 1, and we use it an hour per day. And the fridge, we can have 2, and we use the fridge. Well, it's on 24 hours, but the cycle, I mean, it's can be like 6 hours per day. The inkjet printer, we can have 3 of them, and we use them only half hour per day. Jacuzzi, 1 is enough. And we can use it 1 hour per day. And the LED light bulb, we can use a lot of them, 50, and we use them for 10 hours per day. And then the projector, we can have 2, and we use them 4 hours. Okay, I'm making up these numbers, but this is up to you. So we have the, is it on and off? We have the number of devices, and we have the hours. And here we have the energy, electric energy of the devices. And what is the energy? The energy, it's, we have to use this in kilowatt hours. Those are the units for electric energy. So the formula would be the power times if it's on and or off, so this column, times the number of devices, times the number of hours that this device is working, and these units are watts. If we want to turn this into kilowatts, we have to divide this by 1,000. There you go. And we don't have a value here because we have the watts, so it's not a number. It makes sense. Okay, so I will get rid of all these watts, and I'll share this list with you. Okay, but you see, when we have letters, formulas don't work, so that's why we need to have this. And I think we're all set. Now I can copy this formula here. Okay, so that's the energy consumption of all our devices in one day. So we can say that this is the daily energy consumption in kilowatts. What's the total daily energy consumption? Total daily is the sum of all the values that have in this column. Okay, and units, kilowatt hour. If you need to add another device, you can always insert a cell and add another device here. And then you have to type the consumption, and you can add this line. But this is the total daily energy consumption. Well, usually we don't have a difference in when it comes to the appliances. There is no difference between summer, winter, January, February. So we can say that this is the daily energy consumption, and we can multiply times the number of days that we have in January or in February. So we go to our yearly analysis, and in appliances, what about what's the energy consumption in January in kilowatt hours? So that will be equals. We have to go to this cell. Times 31 because we're in January. If I want to use always the same cell, I will type dollar and dollar. And now I can copy this here. Control C, Control V. In February, we have 28 days. In March, we have the same because we have 31 days. In April, we have 30, and so on and so forth. So May, it's 31. July, it's 31. August is 31. September, October, 31. And December, 31. And 30 days we have in June, September, and October, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so that's quite simple. And this is the amount of energy that we use in our appliances. Usually, this number is lower than the number that we have for the heating loads. Okay, so look at this because now we have the appliances. That's the orange line. The blue line is the HVAC system. And this is the PV production. Okay, so remember that when we I created this chart taking into account all these elements. So here we see the contribution of the appliances, the HVAC, and then the gray, it's the PV production that we have there. Okay, so now we have to talk about money. We have talked about energy, and then we have to turn these kilowatt hours into money. So the first thing is the cost of PV array. How much does it cost? Okay, so I have Googled this cost of a PV array in USA 2022, and the average. There are different factors to consider for sure, but the average in the US it's around $2.6 and $3.2 per watt. If we open the website, we have factors that influence solar panel installation, the size, the tax credit, the energy storage. If we include batteries, we have to add at least $10,000 only for the batteries. We're not going to do that. Location and the equipment, especially the microinverter. This is what turns DC current into AC current. Okay, and how much do your solar panels save? And are solar panels worth it? Well, this is what we're going to try to find out with this exercise. So the cost of the PV array, we said that it's around, units are important. We have dollars per watt. Those are the units. Let's say $3 per watt. Okay, so it was in between 260 and 320. Let's say $3 per watt. Now we need the DC size. Where can we find this? In PV watts. In PV watts, remember, if we are in New Hampshire, we go to the system, and here we can estimate the amount of the DC size of our PV array. So again, you have to select the location. In this location, you have to kind of trace the size of your of the PV array. So the system size is 8.2. Okay, so here you have the tilt, and here you have the angle. So you work with this, and we get these results. Okay, so if we get these results, the DC system size, it was 8.2 kilowatts. So this is 8,200 watts. That's the value that we have to place here, 8,200 watts. Okay. And so what is the total cost? Total cost is $3 equals $3 per watt times these watts. So we have this nice number of 24,600. What format? Okay, 25,600 cost. Those units are quite simple, dollars. Now, is it worth it? That was the question. Um, we can use the concept, the return of investment. Let's explain. Well, actually, it's not the return of investment, but it's time to break even. It's not a very scientific concept. And this time to break even, it depends on different things. Basically, it depends on the cost of the PV array, and it depends on the price of energy. And well, basically, it's the difference between the money that we have to pay upfront and the money that we make because we generate all this electricity, the AC production, and well, it comes at a price. If we generate it for free with our PV array, well, for free, we have already spent this, but then we can generate all this energy throughout the year. That's what we are going to do right now, this time to break even. So what is, we have year one, and we go up to year 25. Okay, why 25? Because we have a 25-year span. The life of a PV panel usually is guaranteed for 25 years. Maybe you find better PV panels and you will have 30 years, but usually in the market, that's what you get. You have a 20-year 5 guarantee that the panel will be working well. So what's your balance on year one? So on year one, your balance is negative. So you have a negative, this number. So you pay upfront $24,600. So when do you start having positive numbers in this 25-year span? Okay, so we have to find out, and that depends on the price of energy. So we have to include here. I'm going to insert a new column. So that's the price of the kilowatt hour, say price of energy, and that is dollar per kilowatt hour. So what's the price of energy? We have to Google. If we Google the price of a kilowatt hour in New Hampshire, then we have this information. The average New Hampshire commercial electricity is 18.42 cents per kilowatt hours, but in residential electricity is 23, 40% higher than the national average. Okay, so let's use either this or that, depends. So let's use around 20 cents per kilowatt hour. So let's use that number. If the price of energy is 20 cents, $0.2 per kilowatt hour, and here we have the kilowatt hours. So we have the monthly bill in dollars. Okay, so this is what our building is consuming. This is just the energy production times the price of electricity. The price of electricity is going to be the same in January and in December. So let's use the dollar sign here. And now I can copy. So that's the monthly consumption of my building. In summer, we have around $300. In winter, we have around 200. It depends. Okay, so that reflects, no, sorry, this is not the monthly bill. This is the monthly revenue. We can calculate the monthly bill too because we have, this is the production. Yeah, so that makes sense. We produce more energy. That's the graphic, what the graphic says. We produce more energy in summer than in winter. So this is what happens here, okay? So that's what we are producing. And now, how does affect this the time to break even? So on year 2, we have paid this upfront. So on year 2, we have to subtract this minus, but first we have to calculate the total yearly revenue. So that will be the sum of all the months. Okay, have to add all this up. So my yearly production is 3,200. Going to use this, $3,271. And now the break even, I have to use, on year 2, I have to use the year 1 plus this value. Okay, so my debt after paying this, I get 3,000 first year. So it goes down from 24 to 21,000. How can I do that? If I do this, since I have to use always the same cell, I have the dollar here. And then if I go down, this one will be this value plus this. So I can go all the way down. And in this case, in year 8, we have this break-even point, and as of year 9, I start making money. So those numbers are different. They depend basically on 2 things. They depend on the price of energy, and then they depend on the cost of the PV array. If the price of energy goes up, the investment is great. If the price of energy goes down, we need more time for this break even. And the total revenue after 25 years, it's reduced. Okay, so this is the first thing that you have to understand. Investing in renewable energies, it depends mainly on the price of energy. So the more expensive the energy, the best the investment in renewable energies. Okay, so you see that if this number gets higher, it's worth investing because in 4 years we're done and we start making money, and the money that we make after 25 years is much more. If the price of energy is very low, then the amount of money that we make with this investment is very low, and it takes more time to recover that investment. It also depends on the cost of the PV array. If it's very expensive, we don't recover the investment. So if the PV array is very expensive and the price of energy is very low, it's not a good business. But if the price of the energy is quite high and the cost of the PV array drops, then in 3 years we can recover the investment. There are other factors like the interest rate, if we take a loan, the inflation. Those are the things that we can't control. We can't control the price of energy either. Okay, but well, but I think to have an idea of what can we tell our clients about this, is it worth it? Okay, a 3 year break-even time, it's great. If the price of electricity drops, well, this is 0.2, this is what currently is, and the cost of the PV array is 2, that's quite cheap. Okay, that works. But if the cost of the PV array increases, then we start having break-even points over 10 years, and this is not attractive for investment. So that's what you have to analyze now. Okay, so we're talking about energy. With this, we talk about energy, and the goal is to generate as much energy as we consume. So we have the energy consumption in HVAC and in appliances, and we have the energy production. So a graphic like this, I think it's quite good in terms of energy analysis. Then the economic analysis, it depends on factors that we can control, especially the price of energy and the cost of PV array. In my opinion, the cost of energy is going always up. The cost of the PV array, it's going down, but it might change over 25 years.